Hello, Lisa here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to a very exciting walkthrough. I just got this in the mail today and I am super excited to take you through it. This is going to be a full unboxing first impressions walkthrough of the Mythical Creatures Tarot by Baba Studio. This is a deck that was created by Karen Mahoney and was illustrated by Elena Kozacek and Alex Ukolov. Karen and Alex are creators of many beautiful decks at Baba Studios, and I expect this is going to be pretty phenomenal. So we are going to be diving in to the Mythical Creatures. Now, the Mythical Creatures Tarot did come out, I believe, a couple of years ago now, but it was in a fully monochromatic, like black and white style. It has since been watercolored, and I believe some gorgeous gilding has been added, and I cannot wait. So this is a pip deck. And I believe there's actually an extra Three of Cups card in here, which is more scenic. There was a little note about that. I forgot to bring my extras, but I do have the guidebook not yet opened out of its packaging, so we're going to take a look at that. But first, I want to get right into the cards. So if you're really interested in taking a look at the guidebook, you're going to want to watch for that near the end. I will try to put a timestamp down below, but I will probably forget. So I'll do my best. But this is what the box looks like. It's beautiful. It's got all of this gorgeous like gold foil accent. And you can see these gorgeous sparkles of gold even on the cover here. I love the parchment look. Now I did pull out another Baba Studios deck just so we could compare sizing. I also have the gorgeous Alice Tarot. This is the second edition. These boxes do appear to be the same size and the same style. So that's really exciting. They both have that sort of gorgeous gold accent on them. I am so excited to dig into this. Now, because this is a pip or possibly Marseille style, I believe a lot of the positioning here is meant to be Marseille style. I also have a copy here of the Ancient Italian Tarot, which is a mass market Marseille style deck, so that we can do a side by side and we can look at things like direction and pip arrangement and all that kind of thing. So if you really like to do deep dives, this is probably going to be the walkthrough for you. So let's get into it. Oh, look at the pretty teal on the inside. I wasn't expecting that. That's gorgeous. So there is a little white book. These are pretty worthwhile, I will say. Karen tends to do a really good job on her anything she writes. So the little white book, as well as the full-size guidebook. It looks like there's a couple spreads in here, at least one I saw. Yeah, there's a spread there. And yeah, so this is definitely going to be enough to get you started, but I always add on the full-size guidebooks on Baba Studios decks when I have that opportunity because they're always so gorgeous. So I can see, opening up the deck, that there is like an interesting little separation here between this section of cards. It's probably not a big deal and it should go away when they are shuffled. And these don't look like they're going to require a sharp object. I just need to get my... There we go. These open up pretty. Oh, it had one of those, what do you call it? Those little tug. I think it had one of those little tug spots and I just missed it. Okay. So this is the regular, ooh, okay, the cardstock feels really silky, like silkier than I'm used to. And Baba Studios cardstock is out of this world. So I'm gonna just set the little white book and the box aside here. These have like a really wonderful slip to them. Yeah, so you can see that like kind of bow. Now normally what I find whenever decks have any kind of a bow is that they typically will adjust once they get used to sort of the humidity of the environment that they're in. There's a lot of flex to the Baba Studios cardstock. It tends to be pretty bendy, but it also tends to be really sturdy. So as an example, here is my Alice Tarot. Again, you can see it's kind of thin. It has a bow. Cardstock is similarly bendy. So yeah, I'm pretty used to Baba Studios cardstock. It isn't what you expect. When people rave about the cardstock, it's not that it's this like really thick, stiff cardstock. It's kind of the opposite. It reminds me of like a really high quality playing card, but it doesn't have that linen finish. So here on our title card, we have design Karen Mahoney, artwork and illustration by Elena Kozacek and Alexander Ukolov, and then the watercoloring is by Geraldine Woosner with Alexander Ukolov. And then there's a link to the Baba Studio store. Let's take a look at the backings. So there is actually a ton of reflect on the back. It's this really gorgeous cold foil stamping in color that runs through the whole back of the card. And I'm just gonna get the light to catch it a little bit here or there. I'm really hoping as we go through the walkthrough that any kind of stamping will show up well on the cards, but we'll have to just see what happens. So I'm going to take a quick look at the suit order here. So we have wands, cups, swords, pentacles. Okay, so I just want to get this one in the same order. So we're going to have wands. And then we're going to want cups. And then swords, pentacles. Okay. I want to do a side-by-side so that we get an idea of directionality and all that good stuff. But before we get started, I'm going to just hit this deck with a little bit of my cleansing smoke here. And I'm probably going to zoom us in a little bit. We'll see how that works out. Alrighty, let's get us pretty centered, and let's bring us in a bit. I think that'll be good. I'm just going to get the extra things here out of the way. Alrighty, so right away, let's bring us in even maybe a little closer. So right away in our Fools, you can see all of that gorgeous shine. There's just a ton of little foil accents running up the border. I hope that's catching. Oh, these are really, really beautiful, and the gilding gives it a little bit of texture. So right away, I'm noticing that the directionality here is pretty much the same. So we have our Fool sort of headed in this direction, but sort of looking over his shoulder back to the left, which is interesting. Here we have our Magician, and I actually might grab the book so we can see what the creatures are that are being referenced, actually. So let's back up, because that's one of the fun parts of this deck, is this mythical creature theme. So the Fool is Amadon Moore. Oh, or Amadon Dove, the Dark Fool, Black Fool, or Fairy Fool, a fairy trickster. Cool. The Magician is the Magus, or the Magus. I'm not sure how you would say that. Magi were originally Zoroastrian priests. Cool. So again, we have somebody sort of head on. We have almost the idea of a table here with the sword going across that way. And we looks like we have all the tools. So we have the wand up here. I'm looking, I say we have all the tools, but now I'm like looking for it. Like where is it? So let's take closer look. Oh, look at this cold stamping though. It just, the camera can't pick it all up, but I hope it's catching enough of it for you to get a really good idea. That is just beautiful. There's one thing about Baba Studios decks, it is that they are very ornately done. Here we have our High Priestess. In the Marseille, we usually see her called the Papesse or la Papessa. I love this. She looks like a griffin. Is that right? No, Sphinx. Sorry, my bad. So part lion, obviously part eagle. Part human, part lion. See, I'm thinking griffin. That is really stunning. Again, like just, there's so much foil stamping. It's just breathtaking. Our beautiful Empress. And our Empress is the Fairy Queen. Beautiful. Our Emperor, the Minotaur or Minotaur. Oh man, the gold. All of this is like gold. This is a spectacularly finished deck. Like the colors, oh, this is so pretty. Oh, I didn't look at direction. I said I was going to. So we still have our Emperor looking off to this way. Now this one, his throne is sort of angled forward or almost to the right even, but he's definitely looking over his left shoulder. Well, his right shoulder, our left. The Hierophant. And here we have our Centaur. I almost don't even want to have this deck in the way, so I'm just gonna, no, I should probably keep it. Okay, I'm second guessing myself, but this is just stealing the show. Like, are you kidding? So stunning. The lovers, we have our mermaid and her lover. And I'm just referring to the little white book here so that I know what we're looking at. I love the lotuses, the sea, all this armor is gilded, her tail. I mean, this is like an immersive, stunningly beautiful deck. Wowza. The Chariot. We have Poseidon. Ooh. Oh, again, let's take a look at the lovers. So I will say this is not a Marseille lovers. With the lovers in the Marseille, we always have like sort of a choice. We either have like somebody who's sort of presiding over a couple, or we have, you know, a male figure trying to choose between two female figures. We don't see that here, although we could see that story with the choice of the sea or the land here with the mermaid and her lover. It'll be interesting to see if Karen goes into that with the meanings, but that's really beautiful. I just can't stop staring at it. It's so gorgeous. Okay, we have the Chariot, which again I said was the Poseidon. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself here. I'm getting so captivated by the artwork that I'm just not even... This is so gorgeous. And the borders here are completely breathtaking. They're all these like dragon-y sort of figures all the way around. We have this gorgeous parchment unrolled here. And the backgrounds of these cards are definitely like a creamy sort of parchment shade. They're not like a stark white. You can definitely tell when I hold these two next to each other. Strength. So here we would have the Marseille version of Strength. Here we have the is that a rooster over the lion? What does it say here? Oh, the harpy. All right. I know we have Justice and Strength in the... I'm just going to set Justice aside for now. Pull out Strength. Okay. So now we're looking at the Hermit, and we have the dragon with his hoard in his cave. It's a really cool depiction, I said that weird, but that's a really cool image for the Hermit. So pretty. The Wheel of Fortune, we have the Norns, and this is so perfect. So the Norns are from Greek mythology. One person weaves, one measures, and one cuts, and it's a analogy or a euphemism for life, right? Somebody's weaving your life, somebody is measuring it, and somebody's cutting it. And these swans, this is, I wish, I can't even, I'm losing my words. These are so beautiful. Here's what our Justice card looks like. And in Justice we see, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, it's interesting. In the actual little white book, so I had this wrong. This is the harpy, because in the little white book we actually have Justice in the 8th position, which is what you would expect for a TDM deck. It's just that they weren't printed that way. So we have Justice as our harpy. So this is our harpy for Justice. And then we had Strength is actually the white cockerel. So we had those, and then we have Strength, the white cockerel. Okay, now we're back in our order. Okay, so this was the right, yeah. I put my Marseille back in order. So in the Marseille system, if you don't know, then Justice is in the position 8 and Strength is in position 11. That makes way more sense. Okay, all is right with the world again. I was getting a little confused. And we're moving on to our Hanged Man. Sorry if I'm a little all over the place. I'm just really, these are really, really pretty. So the Mandrake. Oh, interesting. And you get this idea of, if this is the Mandrake and we assume that it's been uprooted and upended, that really has an interesting meaning, doesn't it? Very cool. This gilding, you guys, I just can't with that. Death. So here we definitely have Death facing 2 different directions. I'm used to, actually, in Marseille decks, though, the other deck that I'm using, Death is definitely facing to the right. So I think this particular deck, this is based, the Ancient Italian Tarot is based on, I believe, the Soprafino deck. So this is a little different, but in my other Marseille decks I've been using so far, Death is facing this way, the scythe is definitely cutting to the right. So I think this is in line with that. But here we have the Basilisk. Basilisk. I cannot wait to dive into this guidebook and play with this deck. Temperance. Ooh, okay, so we have a 2-headed, the rebus, from the Latin res bina, meaning dual or double matter, is the culmination of the alchemical process. It represents the successful fusion of sun and moon, male and female, light and dark. Beautiful for the Temperance card. here we have the devil. I love me a seductive devil. I always have, so I really like this depiction. I like that she's kind of trying to pull herself away a bit, or at least that's what it looks. Nope, she's not trying to pull herself away. That's interesting that that's what I saw. She's got some chains there. We've got the little ball. It's like weight down here around her ankle, but she's like perfectly content to be in this situation. Oh, so pretty. Our tower. Oh, look at this kraken. Oh, sorry, this was a vampire. I'm sorry, he's very vampirish. I just got caught up in the image. The tower with the kraken, that is so powerful. Look at this giant mouth that's just like wrapping all the way around this ship. Ooh, and I can't even with the foil. Oh, you guys, it's my unicorn. The unicorn is the best for the star, and this unicorn is done right. I have feelings about unicorns. I would have preferred a lion's style tail because that is how I see my traditional unicorns, but I mean, that is literally the only bone I could potentially pick. I love that it's got the beard here. We've got this delicate sort of ancient wisdom coming through. This is so gorgeous. And again, we have that sort of purity, and we see the looking to the left. And we have the main star here shining overhead. That is so pretty. Oh. Next we have our moon, and we have a werewolf. I'm sure that's a werewolf, right? Yeah, that's a werewolf. And he's kind of captured our damsel here. Wow. We still have the two towers in the distance, though. Do we have anything for the subconscious? Like that idea of like a crayfish or anything? I'm not spotting it. If you guys watching at home, of course, where else would you be watching? If you're watching and you can spot that, let me know. That is so pretty. We have our phoenix for the sun. That's interesting. I might have expected to see the phoenix in Judgment, but it is really beautiful here. Oh no, I lied. This is a firebird. Oh, that's a firebird. That is beautiful. I'm not even really looking at this deck on the left here. I'm just literally so caught up in these images. This is such a beautiful deck. Now again, you can still get this deck. I say again as if I've already said it. You can still get this deck. This is the standard edition. There's also a limited edition that is larger. I don't know if that one is still available. It may be. I'll try to remember to have a link down below where you can order this, but wow. And then here we have our phoenix for Judgment. That makes perfect sense. That's really funny I saw a bird and just assumed it was a phoenix, but that is a firebird. And it looks like it might be almost peacock-like. It says the firebird is a creature of Slavic folklore, also known as the Tsar Petitsa. The subject of many tales is said to emit a strong flame-like light, and a single one of the feathers from its tail can illuminate a whole room. Sorry, I know we're on to Judgment. I am such a squirrel for this walkthrough, you guys. Okay, so the phoenix. Yes, is any mythical animal more hoped for and admired than the phoenix? Dying in a nest of flames, it is reborn from its own ashes at regular intervals. I'm just reading little snippets from the little white book. I probably can't do that forever because this is going to be a really long walkthrough, but here's our world card. Of course, that better be the Ouroboros. I mean, what else could that be? Of course, the Ouroboros. The Ouroboros is a serpent that bites its own tail, is in both alchemy and the wider Hermetic tradition, a symbol of completion and the eternal unity of all things. Wow. When I say that like every detail of these cards has been considered, has been gorgeously accented, I mean, it looks almost like there's like a mirror-like shine on these cards, but they're beautifully matte and silky to touch, very smooth. But the gilding just adds so much depth. Long ago, before I had any Baba Studios decks, and I've only got two? Do I only have two? I've got the Alice Tarot, and I have the Bohemian Gothic Tarot. I think those are the only two I have. Before I had either of those, I literally told myself that my very first Baba Studios deck was actually going to be this one, because I had seen the black and white version of this, and I found out that Baba Studios was going to be doing a colored version. It's been a long time coming, but since then I have acquired other Baba Studios decks, but these are outstanding. They're so beautiful, and this is right up my alley. Here we have our Ace of Wands. Now when we move into the the minor arcana here, you're going to find that there's a lot of decorative elements on the cards, but they're not scenic. So you're going to be focusing on just the pips, so just the wand or wands in each card. So I think for this, I'm going to go, well, I guess I want to check the positioning. But after the first suit, I may just set these aside so we can focus. But look at this. We have some beautiful dragons surrounding our wand. And we have some very, are these salamanders? We have some like lizard-like creatures in the border. I mean, this is so beautifully done. I mean, how many times can I say beautiful? So this is very similar positioning. Actually, let's just do a little spot check. I think these are going to be pretty similar positioning. I'm going to go ahead and set this aside because it's just distracting me at this point. It was interesting to see that the positioning is pretty much the same though. So let's just focus on this beauty because that's what I'm going to do anyway, let's be honest. So here's our 2. Again, we have these like sort of salamander-y like figures this time. I mean, it's a very fiery image, which I love. Here's our 3. Again, every element has some sort of metallic accent. I mean, they look like they've been just coated elegantly in foil. I mean, they're, yeah, 4. The 5, the 6, 7, the 8, 9, and the 10. I know I'm going probably too slow. Here's our page. So now that we're in the courts, I'm going to take a look and see if we have creatures associated with those. Looks like we might. Yes, we do. Okay, so in the wands, we have the salamander as the page. Well, that makes perfect sense. God, these are so beautifully done. I get this feeling that Karen and Alex are definitely perfectionists when it comes to the work that they put out. They care deeply about the finished product. They care deeply about where the cards get printed, how they get printed. This is beautiful. Sorry, what is this? Sorry, I'm literally just staring at the image. This is the Chimera. The Chimera. Our queen. And she is the Chinese dragon. And the king is the Ifrit. I don't know what an Ifrit is. Let's see what it says. Afrits or Ifrits are a type of fiery jinn in Arabian and Persian lore. They're considered immensely powerful and can be good or bad according to their natures. Beautiful. Okay, let's take a look at our cups. We have our ace. Love the mermaids and the watery elements we can see here. Our 2. Our 3. Now we do have an extra 3. I think it's going to be in the back, so I'm going to pull that out in just a moment. So here's our classic 3. This is the one I think that was really meant to be included in the deck, but it does look like, yeah, it's in the back. They created this beautiful scenic 3 of cups. This is going to actually go on my ocean altar, so I'm going to put that over there. But that is stunning. So I'm just going to set that aside. Here's our 3 of cups. Wow. The 4. Oh my goodness. I'm just going to make ooh-ah sounds the whole time. I mean, like the jewels in these cups are each individually gilded in a matching foil. Like we have a green foil on the green jewel, a red foil on the red jewel. Like I can't even describe to you how precise and beautiful that is. The 6. 7. With these, you're really looking at the pips and you're looking at these cards like according to Tarot de Marseille, or you're looking at them according to your numerological meanings or the rote meanings you work with. If you work with RWS, Rider-Waite-Smith, rote meanings, memorized meanings, you can use those as well. But it could be easy to get lost in all the beautiful detailing in the cards, but I think the meaning is meant to be undiluted by the decorations on the cards. They're just meant to add to, I think, the ambiance and the aesthetic of that suit. A 9. What I'm really enjoying actually a lot is one of the things that's helpful if you're learning Marseille is looking at a number like an 8 by what you can add to get to that number numerologically. So I know that 4s are stability, and here we have a 4 and a 4. So this tells me this is double stability. This is extra stable. This is extra embedded in its structure. Same thing here. We have a group of 5 and a group of 4, and I feel like this might actually really help me in my Tarot de Marseille studies to see them separated this way. We have a 6 and a 4, so we can look at a rebalancing and also a structure. That's really cool that I can look at it that way. I can look at it cohesively, but the fact that they have separated them, and I don't know if they've done that. It seems like they've done that through the cups, really. So we have our 5, which is 3 and 2. Our 4 is 3 and 1. You could also be 2 and 2, 3. Yeah, that's really cool. We're back into our quartz. So the Page of Cups is the Naiad. She's beautiful. The Knight of Cups is the Sea Serpent. Oh man, I just cannot wait to dig into the guidebook. We're going to look at that together in a moment. The Queen of Cups. Melusine. Melusine, that sounds familiar. A mermaid. Oh yes, I know what Melusine is. She's common in art and alchemy. Melusine, a mermaid with 2 tails, is one of the most famous and powerful of all fairy folk of European lore. She can be found in the mythology of southwest and northern France and also of southern Germany, and is said to be of great beauty and majesty. We see Melusine on the Starbucks logo. Somebody's going to correct me. I might be getting my 2-tailed mermaids mixed up, but I thought that was the deal. She's beautiful. Then our King of Cups is the Vodyanoi. Let me just read. In Eastern Slavic mythology, Vodyanois are male, I might not be pronouncing that right, are male water spirits that are referred to as a grandfather or forefather, perhaps a reference to long ago water origins. Wow. And we're into the sword suit. Oh, we're sliding. Okay, so we have our Ace of Swords. We see feathers or wings or something decorating. So we get that airy feeling, which I love. Look at these 2 winged figures facing opposite directions. We have the 2 swords. We have the 3 swords. So these are not going to be Marseille style, so just to show you the difference. In Marseille swords, we get these like curved bowed swords happening. So we have the 2, the 3, the 4, and so on, and we kind of have this boundary that's created. So these are definitely pip, but they're not in that Marseille style shape. Gorgeous, gorgeous card. Here we have the 4. This sort of arrangement always confuses me for a split second because this sword here is pointed up and these other ones are blade down. And that sometimes makes me think there's only 3 swords, so you really want to watch that one. The 5 of Swords. So I'm trying not to get my hands in the way, but I also want to tip it so you can see all that gorgeous foiling. The 6. I love the arrangement here, actually. 3 up, 3 down. Sort of harmonizing with one another, balancing each other out. The 7. Oh, I like this sort of mask we see on the 7. Beautiful. The 8. 9. Wow. And 10. Let's take a look at our quartz. Woo! Look! So the Page of Swords is the sylph. The term sylph originated in the early 16th century with the scientist and alchemist Paracelsus as a word he applied to air spirits. And she goes on from there, but that is so gorgeous. Our Knight of Swords is Pegasus. Wow. Our Queen of Swords, the Banshee. A fairy she creature who spreads fear on all who see her face or hear her wail. She combs her hair and keens to warn of a death, especially in certain old Irish families. Usually she is not cruel, just a spirit of grief, though she is dangerous if confronted. Beautiful. And our King of Swords, look at this. Finally we have the Griffin. I was so fixated on earlier. So it's a lion and an eagle. It's so, so, so beautiful. We have our Ace of Coins. And again, now we're back into the earthly suit. And we have earthly decorative elements on the card. We have some pomegranates here. We have some plant life. We have what look to be like sort of lionish creatures up in the top. Love, love, love. We have our 2. I'm just going to hold these now so we can get them in a little closer. Our 3. Our 4. Our 5. Our 6. Our 7. Our 8. I'm just loving all of the beautiful decorative elements. There's so much to just get lost in. It just makes them so pleasurable to look at. 9 of coins. Ugh. 10 of coins. And our quartz. Oh, is that a little gnome? Dwarf. So we have a dwarf. We have the satyr, or satyr. I'm not sure how you really say that. I've always said satyr. Someone feel free to correct me down below. Oh, look at this dryad. She is stunning. Oh my gosh, you guys. And we have our giant. How appropriate for our King of Coins. Oh, you guys, these are so, so beautiful. All right, we're gonna give them a shuffle, and then I'm gonna go over this little white book briefly, and then we're gonna dive into the book. So I do have, like I said, that bit of a visible bow. Let's just see what happens when we shuffle it. One shuffle, and it's already way better. You can see I've still got it a little bit there. It's probably just a few cards that are gonna be creating that. What happened here? Oh, I divided it funny. They are a little bigger than standard. That's one thing I was going to show you was the size. So let's do that really quickly before I forget. So here is a pretty standard size. This is the Ancient Italian Tarot. You can see they are a little bit wider and taller. Again, the cardstock feels thin. It's really hard to describe, but it holds up so, so beautifully. It rifle shuffles like a dream. It's smooth. It's durable feeling. Oh, everything. So a few shuffles later, and you can't even really see. I mean, maybe one of these cards near the top has that bit of a bow in it. Sorry, out of frame. But it's already pretty much a cohesive deck. It, of course, fans. Oh, I've got to zoom back out. It fans beautifully. Let's take a look at the little white book. There's a few interesting things to point out, and I think these are going to ring true through the big book as well, but we'll see. So in the little white book, what I noticed as I was going through it is you have the name of the creature through the majors and also through the quartz. Then you have a Rider-Waite-Smith meaning, a Tarot de Marseille meaning with some keywords. So you have keywords for both. And then you also have some specific creature meaning. So for example, the Hierophant, the Centaur, you get a little bit about the Centaur. The RWS meaning of the Hierophant, the TDM or the Tarot de Marseille meaning of the Hierophant. And then for the specific mythical creature, it adds spiritual strength born out of suffering, deep knowledge and practice of healing, a divinator or astronomer, a teacher who brings learning from 2 different cultures. So you can lean into whatever system you really, really want, but I really, really like that. So this is not an insubstantial little white book. It's not something you should ignore, particularly if you just get the standard deck. Oh, look at how pretty. Okay, I need to not put the cards away. What am I doing? Okay. Focus. Now, packed separately and so carefully was the guidebook. So let's dive in to that. If I can open this. You know, it's supposed to be, there we go. There we go. I love that it comes in this recyclable packaging. And look at that, pristine. Oh, so, so beautiful. The paper quality of these, by the way, it's like that glossy, like gorgeous magazine quality paper. If you have the Robert M. Place big book, the renewed 4th edition, or not the renewed 4th edition, but the 2nd edition of his Tarot, Alchemy, Hermeticism, and Neoplatonism, the 2nd edition. Same paper. I'm trying to think of what else has this gorgeous, heavy, glossy paper, but any other Baba Studios guidebook. Look at how heavy this is with illustrations. Oh my goodness, this is going to be so much fun to dig into. But let's take a little tour through the guidebook. So we have in our table of contents here, which I'll bring up so you can take a look. You can pause and get an idea for what's in here. So we have introduction, information on illustrating it, how to read using spreads, a sample 5 cards, some mythical creatures spreads, the Norns Lot spread, cool. Reading with this tarot, FAQs about the companion book. We have, oh, look at this. Working with Older Pip Tarots is a section here written by Caitlin Matthews. Caitlin Matthews is actually the author of the Untold Tarot, which is the book I've been reading recently on Marseille, and she's wonderful at explaining about reading older style decks. We have the major arcana trumps, the minor arcana are pip cards, wands, cups, swords, coins, and the court cards are in the back, and then a bibliography. Some information on the authors. So yeah, this looks really beautiful. It literally feels like a really, really high quality magazine. And look at these full color images in here of the cards. Sorry, I bumped my camera. Try to get it to stop wobbling here. So, so beautiful. This deck, okay. I'm out of words. Like, this is so beautifully produced. All right, so let's do a quick card draw and take a look at what the book has to say if I can stop bashing my camera. All right. So we have that beautiful Queen of Coins Dryad. So let's see what the guidebook has to say about her. So court cards, if I remember right, were in the end. So they were. Here's the swords, coins. Okay, I'm not going to read this whole thing because there's a ton of information, but check this out. So we have the Dryad, who seems part tree, part woman, looks calmly toward us. A coin grows in her tree amongst vibrant flowers and leaves. So her RWS meaning, Rider-Waite-Smith, a practical domestic woman, someone motherly and supportive, a person who you can lean on and trust, the creator of a great home environment, a skilled and experienced craftswoman. Rider-Waite-Smith reversed. Then we have Tarot de Marseille, a wealthy older woman, a pragmatic and intelligent person, someone who has humility but who is self-possessed, a grandmother or older relative. And then we have specific creature meanings. There's also Tarot de Marseille reversed. And then specific mythical creatures meanings. A woman who is at one with nature, someone with green fingers, who loves plants, a special tree that seems almost sentient, maybe a sacred tree or a magical tree. In the Rider-Waite-Smith, the Queen of Coins used to be seen as the consummate housekeeper and domestic head of the household. Nowadays, however, this can manifest as a woman who is the leader of a practical or arts and crafts based organization. She is good with finances, a brilliant manager, and also a great parent and nurturer. And then it goes on, and there's even, look at all this information about the Dryad. We even have a poem here by C.S. Lewis, and another one by John Keats, Ode to a Nightingale, and then we're on to the King. So, very comprehensive guidebook. I don't even know where to start with this one, you guys. This looks incredible. I am very excited to dive into it and begin playing. It looks like it's going to be so, so much fun to work with. It shuffles beautifully. I know the quality of these decks. I can shuffle them like crazy. They always hold up. They're just, oh, I just want to keep playing. I just want to keep playing. I know I'm on camera, but this is just, I'm very, 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 very excited. So that, my friends, is the Mythical Creatures Tarot, the watercolored edition. Do not sleep on this one. As you may know, with Baba Studios decks, once they're out of stock, they typically don't reprint for a very long time, if at all. So keep your eyes peeled. I know they've got quite a bit of the standard edition, I believe, left. The limited edition is larger and I believe comes in fancier packaging, so keep your eye out for that one as well. Thank you so, so much for hanging out with me. I look forward to hearing your thoughts down below. Remember, as always, that if you'd like to book a reading, you can do that over at supportivetarot.com. Remember to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll talk to you all again very, very soon. Bye, everybody!